Howdy, folks. It's Vile Mike here, and goddamn, this has been a fucking week, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. You know why? It's a full moon.
Oh yeah, that's what, well,
More so
technically
than
yesterday was a week. This is the beginning of a week, actually.
Yeah,
Well,
depending on what calendar you use. Some calendars use Monday at the beginning of the week. Some use Sunday.
I was going to say, on my calendar,
technically Sunday is the first day of the week.
Depending on what calendar you're using or what country you're from.
No,
No, Sunday is the
your
last day
calendar
of the
can be.
week.
Well, Sunday's the first.
No, it's the last day of the week on my calendar.
See, Sunday's last, Sunday's first.
No.
It depends on what country you're from or what calendar you're using.
No. It is always Sunday. It is the accepted first day of the week. The thing is your calendar company understands that most people's day or week starts on Monday as far as work is concerned. So,
Well, granted,
many
it is only my work calendar actually that has it listed that way, because we actually go by week numbers in horticulture, right? Because you get order stuff and it's arriving in week 24 or 15 or whatever, right?
Same thing in retail, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not uncommon in a variety of places.
All right, so to be completely honest, when I make these little pictures for the pre-show politics thing, since I made the template,
Okay.
I start them during the week. When I hear a news story, then I'm like, okay, that has to go in pre-show politics. If you kind of notice, everything on here happened by Wednesday.
Do you want the fun thing that happened this week? I don't have a link to it, but Trump was giving a speech in, I think it was Georgia, and somebody in the crowd behind him was like,
Oh, yeah.
reading off of his teleprompter.
Yeah.
It was,
Well,
that was
it
pretty
looked
funny.
like he was just more behind him, miming what he was saying after
It
he said
depends.
it.
There's
He was
quite a
mocking
bit of
Trump.
footage. There's
Yeah.
quite a bit of footage, and it looks like he actually was like speaking along with him in a couple of places. It was
You can't see the teleprompter from anywhere other than where the person with the teleprompter is at.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
it's
So-
The thing is, Trump has said the same thing over and over again. The guy got used to it, so he knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Listening to Trump's speech is very redundant. Very redundant.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. He did a fantastic. It's wonderful.
Nobody's better than me. Nobody's done this better.
And when they said,
All
sir,
You're screaming at
Well,
me.
we
My
can
neighbor
keep
was really
making fun of
aggressive.
Trump, but we don't have a lot of time this week.
Okay, I do
So-
enjoy the shark and the batteries story though. That's a good one.
Oh, the Peakwee
Yeah. Yeah.
PB Herm trying to say PB Herman. I'm like, what the hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Send me that link.
first thing I want to talk about, because it was the first one I made, was in the bottom left corner. I have the thing saying $200 a barrel for a barrel of oil. Now it's not actually that nearly that much right now.
112, I think.
But that's
It's
because
just
when I
over
made
100
this,
right now. Yeah.
that's because when I made this little square or this picture, Russia had just closed their largest oil export facility because it had been hit by Ukraine, and Iran had hit one of Saudi Arabia's oil tankers.
Okay, WTI crude is 85,815. OPEC basket is $102.76.
Yeah, just over 100.
The last time it closed, it was at 89.31 for WTI and 96.78.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be topping up my tank this week and then not
Yeah.
taking any longer road trips for a while.
Yeah,
All right,
Just
Yeah,
under
like
$100 for the international
100
benchmark
But I
and
want to
790 for
elaborate
US.
a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I made this like as soon as I had heard about the oil tanker being hit. I'm like, that has to be on pre-show politics. That's why I did this way.
There's no verifiable evidence that any oil tanker got hit by a mine and is on fire. Nobody's
Hey,
actually
mine.
verified that.
I am missing.
I
We
thought-
know this. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
Since then, Iran has actually hit another oil tanker and one of Saudi Arabia's oil production facilities themselves, closing the other strait in the Red Sea. according to oil experts that I follow online, primarily Mr. Global. If you don't know who he is, follow him. He is one of the smartest guys I know, and he doesn't give a shit about either side of the political spectrum. He calls out oil stuff regardless.
I thought it was Yemen who was closing off the
yeah, but they're doing it. They're doing it because of these attacks.
Yeah, the Houthis, right, in Yemen.
Yeah, the Houthis in Yemen.
But they're
aligned,
associated.
aligned with
Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, from what I understand, 40% of oil production on the planet, or sorry, oil exports on the planet, are stalled or stopped entirely. And if you remove 40% of anything off the market,
Shit.
the remaining amount is going to skyrocket in price.
Sorry, I gotta hear this. Sorry.
Okay.
All right then.
So,
No, sorry, there was a shooting 2 blocks from my house last night. I'm trying to get the update on it.
All right, that's fine.
So yeah,
You still live in San Francisco.
no one was actually saying that oil is going to hit $200 a barrel yet. It's most likely if the straits remain closed and if those oil production facilities that aren't able to actually send out the oil, it could hit it if this goes on for another couple of weeks.
Well, at least there's a positive. I mean, oil scarcity will lead to people developing other forms of power more quickly, and it's better for the environment. So, I guess there's some good parts to it. I mean, it sucks. It's going to cost $1 gazillion, but
that's if the oil embargo keeps going.
Sorry,
on.
what were you saying? Sorry,
Yeah.
I was listening to something else. What did I miss? Sorry.
Well, basically, we're just talking about the loss of oil production, the loss of refining capacity, and the loss of distribution for oil right now.
Yeah. And most countries that have strategic reserves have actually gone through most of their strategic reserves already.
Mm-hmm.
We're
That's why we
definitely
have
have the potential for some
Texas.
scarcity in the coming.
I'm sorry. I don't believe the government when they say we have plenty of oil in reserves. I don't believe the U.S. government when they said that.
Now, I will remind you, here in the United States, in the last year, we have closed more refineries than we've opened. Specifically, one in California was closed, mostly because the refining company, I can't remember which one it was like, you know what? Fuck California. We're not going to do it here because you won't vote the way you won't give us a tax break on the court case we lost in your own courts.
Does that San Rafael?
It might be.
Because the one in San Rafael kept on having flaring problems like
And then,
5
of
times
course-
in 1 month.
Of course, you also remember the one in Texas last year that caught fire and had to close
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So we've lost oil refineries in the U.S. and they're not. It takes years to build a new one. It doesn't take just a couple of weeks or months. So we've lost refining capacity here in the U.S. as well. We are unable to refine enough gasoline to provide all the cars that drive every day with enough gasoline independently. We might be energy independent in general, but we don't make enough gasoline. Period. I'm sorry. We are going to have to keep importing.
And the other
gasoline.
thing to keep in mind is oil is not like a nationalized commodity. If somebody else is going to pay more money, the oil companies will sell it to somebody else. Like there's no, if it's domestic production, it stays at home. Like it's going to go where the money is. So you
That
would have
ties
to
into what I was talking about
nationalize
last
your
week about
oil
nationalizing
production.
our oil here in the U.S., which
And it is more expensive to extract the oil the way we do it because of unions and minimum wage and benefits and things like that. Now, The Roughnecks work a
not-
hell of a
Not really,
hard
Mr.
job.
CCDB, because there's not a single job in the oil industry that pays minimum wage to start with.
No, I know they usually get paid a hell of a lot more,
And that's because it is a dangerous, long. I mean, if you're working on a rig, you don't leave to go home every night. You are staying at that rig for up to what I think 3 to 6 months at a time.
It's like working on a fishing. It's like working on a fishing trolley, Mr. CCDV. You're
Well,
on the boat forever. If you hurt yourself, you're hurt yourself until you get rescued. That's it. You're on the ship.
What I was getting at is that it still costs us more than $110 or $112 a barrel to extract the oil that we own, that we have, that is in America. It cost us more than $112 a barrel.
It's true. It's the same thing with the oil sands oil in Alberta. Just the additional processing that's required to
When
get
they
it
typically
out
export it,
ground.
they get more
It's
money
like
for
impregnated
sending it out.
into the soil. It actually requires quite a little effort to get it out. So even just that, let alone the
This is just, again, I mean, and I hate to say it this way with this, but this is how I feel. The current economic and social political climate of the United States and the world right now is very precarious. But the one thing is I noticed is that a lot of countries are not happy with their leadership right now. A lot of countries have seen an overtaking of people who are not qualified for the job that they're a part of. Hence the reason why places like Great Britain have gone through 10 prime ministers in 7 years.
Yep.
That is embarrassing.
So with that being said, unfortunately, letting these things happen and letting these things play their course is sometimes the only way to actually get to change, because eventually the people who are running the world, the people who are in charge of these choices that have gotten us to where we are, eventually will have no place else to run but to stand in front of their own mistakes. Now, again, that's always dependent on a lot of factors. And I say, because of what I think about this country, that letting this happen and letting this go as far as it's been going is the only true path to get to enough people to make them understand why it isn't the right path. So it's tough. It's not easy, but it is the way we have to go.
Well, I can tell you right now, at least when it comes to how tough it is, one of the first jobs my dad ever got was actually working for an oil company. You know, we're talking when he was 16. He wasn't working on a rig or anything. Literally, his job was to maintain the temporary roads that they use for the oil trucks, the transport, stuff from the rigs to the refineries.
Yep.
And instead of, like making paved roads or anything like that, they took what essentially looked like railroad ties and they would just hammer them into the ground long ways. And his job was to walk along them, and we're talking, some of those can go for miles. So his job was to walk along it, put a little flag down for anyone that he saw was damaged, and then they would go out, with a crew with a truck, and they would pry up the damaged one, put down a new one. And he said back then he got paid twice the standard minimum wage to do that, and as a 16-year-old, it was freaking awesome.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And the funnier part was that job now probably pays about that $25 an hour JP's was talking about. And there is no one 16 working that job anymore. It is professional men who've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah,
it's
even on
probably
private
a good
railways,
idea that it's professional people doing the job.
Even
Well, I'm
on
saying he was
private-
not a professional at age 16.
No,
No,
absolutely
he just
not.
put flags in the boards, right? I mean, great job for a
That was
16-year-old.
part of what he did. I mean, everyone did that part though, and everybody did the drawing. Everyone did put the new ones in.
But
So-
now, even on private railways, I worked for Grand Canyon Railway for 5 years, and I was getting minimum wage as the purchasing agent. But everyone who worked on the rails, everyone who worked on the tracks, everyone who worked on the engines, they got paid a hell of a lot more than I did. But honestly, I just sat in my office 10 hours a day and just went, da, 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 da. Here's another contract. Okay, dokie. Yep.
So, yeah, with one of the things that was assumed about the Russian distribution and refining facility being closed, they think that Trump will essentially go to Zelensky and say, hey, can you stop hitting oil infrastructure in Russia? It's causing our oil prices to surge.
What's he going to say?
And
No.
what do you think Zelensky is going to tell President Trump?
I have all the
about
cards.
Sorry, say that again.
I have all the cards.
Stop playing Go Fish, okay?
I was going to say, joke you if he can't take a fuck.
Well, I think it's going to be something along the lines of, okay, then help me finish this war like you said you were going to.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, again, this is, again, like I said, certain things have to play out for people to finally point the finger at the one person who's to blame. And that, I'm sorry, it's Trump in 90% of these circumstances, which this is one of them. Day one, as soon as I become president, the war in Ukraine will be over. Okay, 2 years later, what's going on?
Well, the war is
You know,
over.
he acts like he can do things and he can't. And that's the thing. People know he's full of shit. And they
Remember, 6 years ago, he said, I have a health plan to come out in 2 weeks. This was 6 years ago.
well, that's not just him. That's also the Republicans. It's Congress's job to come up with that, and it's his job to sign it. And if he had one, he should have sat down with all of the people that that supposedly revere him and love him and think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and said, here's what I want, here's what we're going to do. And I know we have enough votes at the time, back then. I know we have enough votes to do this. And he didn't. And again, that's not just him. And this is where I go. You have to know the right people to blame. That wasn't just him. That's been the Republicans ever since Obamacare came out. They've wanted to take Obamacare out, and then they tell people, hey, we have a better idea. And then everybody asks, what's that idea? And everybody then then they're like, oh, well, we have one. Okay, then tell us. Well, we have it. We just have to get rid of this first. No, tell us what your thing is. Tell us why it's better, and then do it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can speak on behalf of that because when the whole thing basically exploded, I was basically pissed because I'm like, no. The whole point of Obamacare is to have a fixed cap price for medical insurance. That's it. Not to choose your own insurance company where they can actually raise the price, which was in the bill. They can raise the price anytime they want for your premiums. Obamacare was set cap.
Anyways, back to the actual subject of this. And Zelensky's going to say there's no reason that I have to do anything you say because right now, as far as I know, we cut any funding we were giving them or any help we were giving them primarily by a lot because now we're in our own issue. But Zelensky's going to say, I don't have anything I have to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like Mr. CCBV and all of us are saying, he holds all the cards. All the cards are in his side. And Trump is again in a problem now where after being an asshole to so many different people in so many different places, there's nobody willing to come and save him and dig him out because they want to see him fail. And again, that goes back to enough things have to happen to get to a place where there's nobody else to blame but yourself. And it's all right now, I think we're waiting to see is him to finally say, I shouldn't have done this, which he's not going to do.
No.
We all know that.
No,
Yeah,
he'll
and
never
then-
do that.
But also remember,
Everybody else says that for him.
And don't forget, the other thing is he's proven an extremely untrustworthy ally. Like he has like a trade agreement with Canada, but he's still constantly throwing weird tariffs on us. Even
Yeah,
though
he
there's
said he's
supposedly a trade agreement that he signed. So he's not holding to his trade agreement. So why would anyone trust him?
I mean, he basically said, we're going to charge Canada extra tariffs because of the wall of smoke. Now they're charging tariffs because of some kind of economic violation. Now he's charging extra tariffs because the U.S. wasn't invited to the opening of the bridge. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, when it comes to the Zelensky thing, I want to point out that as much as an asshole as he was, one of the biggest proponents of Ukraine in Washington was Lindsey Graham.
Well, that's where he came back. That's why he had the heart attack, because he was traveling for like 24 hours.
So
yeah,
we've lost,
simple
or
blood
at least
clot.
Ukraine has lost one of their biggest voices at Washington. And again, I'm not going to sing the graces of the man, but he was at least a voice of reason when it came to this particular subject of world matters. So, yeah, I don't think Zelensky is going to listen to Trump. Remember, Zelensky has still had most of his, most of the aid we've been sending to Ukraine cut by this administration. And part of it's also because we can't afford to send him any more weapons because we're using up our own stockpile.
Mhm.
On the other side of this coin.
That's why France has accepted to give them some missiles and help them out with their defense and drones.
Again, as far as we're concerned, there's nothing that we can do to make him do what we want him to do, whether or not it's. I don't know. The price of oil thing is just, again, a bunch of people trying to do things at the whim of not understanding the full impact across the world, let alone the country. And we know.
And once again, I had to approve JP's comments. Damn you, YouTube.
Yep,
The last one I had to approve the Zelensky one.
And now this is easily something we could talk about the rest of the stream, but I'm going to go to the next subject. Basically, we had why isn't it going? There we go. We had a terrorist attack in New York again. At least what's being labeled as a domestic terrorist. And in all honesty, I do think the definition fits.
Yeah, it does.
For those that don't know, a man went to the immigration center, or ICE immigration center thing in New York, poured out a gasoline, lit the gasoline with a firework, and shot 5 to 7 warning shots with a airsoft air pellet gun.
And then stood around and waited for the police to show up.
Yeah, but I would still say that lighting a fire and doing it for the reasons he did it, against the government, does count as a form of domestic terrorism.
Well, I didn't mean my last statement to be supportive of him. I just meant
I'm not saying I support his actions either.
He's a
per
dumbass.
se.
Did you know that the United States consider this domestic terrorist act? But when somebody in China does that against the government, it's just a criminal act, not anything of terrorism.
Well, different people classify it differently.
Tom is
Yeah.
here.
I'm like, is this actually?
No. Listen. You're missing the point, though. Anything in China is against the people of China, which is against the government. It is, in a sense, domestic terrorism. It's just they don't define it as that because it's against everybody. And it's their mentality, and the communistic mentality is that it's the people. If I shoot one person, I have now committed a crime against the people. And that's why it's always it's totally different structure of what they're saying. But trust me, so this guy right here who did this is not going to see as stiff of a punishment as anybody over there that did the same thing in China.
Oh, probably not. I mean,
and so there's you have to understand, while they may not call it domestic terrorism, they certainly handle it much worse than what we would do. So there's all that.
Now, from what I understand, the person who did this was a United States veteran. I think he was Army. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He was an Army vet.
Sorry?
He was an Army vet.
I didn't look into his background. I don't know if he was Army or not.
I said correct me if I'm wrong, Elihu. Don't confirm that I'm right.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
gonna say, what is the other option? If I have to only correct you when you're wrong, how could I correct you if you're right? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, it's too fucking early for this, dude. Come on. I know you're 3 hours ahead of us, but please.
Trust me, LDG. You are quite familiar with trying to correct me when I'm right.
Well, you just said it like this. No, the way you said it is like there's another way of correcting.
I
me
need
if
more
I'm something
coffee.
else besides wrong. You can only correct somebody if they're actually wrong. There's no other way of correcting somebody.
As a woman, I can decline. I can refute that people only get corrected when they're wrong.
That is correct. I was married
I've
once.
been mansplained to a time or two.
No,
You guys
I've been
forget
told
this
I
is
was
me you're talking
wrong.
about, okay? Never
I was
mind.
told I was wrong when I was tightening a screw. Give me a break. Like women have the corner on being
Oh.
mansplained to.
I'm just suggesting one instance where people get corrected when they're correct. I'm sure it happens to everybody.
As I pointed out, especially from
Or
LDG.
recorrection.
Now, apparently his reasoning behind it was because of, the way ICE is doing their job currently.
Mhm.
I don't know how else to say that. So yeah, he's upset for what ICE is doing, and he did something about it.
And now, is he one of the ICE isn't being mean enough to people, or ICE is being too mean to people? Because there's people
Too
angry
mean.
at both
He's,
sides.
one of those
he's in the
ones who's-
too mean camp.
Okay. No, just checking.
Apparently he had, let me see if I can find where it said, he had a cart, I'm just repeating from what this article says.
Mhm.
The NYPD said, looking at the cart the subject wheeled with him, I don't know what type of cart it was, had a sign saying ICE off our streets.
Okay.
So apparently he didn't even have the, audacity to say fuck ICE on his cart. He had ICE
Right.
off our street.
Right.
And considering this is the summer, I really don't think he's referring to the frigid winters of New York.
Right. The
Probably
frosty
not.
surfaces that happen. Gotcha.
Maybe he's getting a preemptive strike at it. Maybe.
Mm.
I mean,
strike.
fire would definitely take care
We're
of
gonna
the
set a
ice.
fire.
It would melt the ice.
Do something else.
I do want to point out one of the jokes that I saw on Twitter about this. It was a MAGA follower saying that he should be charged more, or he should be charged more about wasting gasoline than he should about trying to light New York on fire.
Hell yeah, that's right.
Sorry, say that again.
He should be charged more for the waste of gasoline than trying to light New York on fire.
Yeah.
And while I don't necessarily approve of most of what MAGA tends to say, I will say that was fucking funny.
He didn't actually waste it. He burnt it.
Because quite literally,
Used
the
it.
next day after this happened is when the Saudis first hit oil tanker. So, quite literally, this person said that before or after Russia was hit by Ukraine, but before the Saudis lost an oil tanker.
It is a
So
funny statement.
there's been
man.
no
Either
oil
way you read
spills.
it, it's a
Yeah,
funny statement.
Right.
I think my favorite meme of the week was Mitch McConnell back in the Senate, but he was like in carbonite.
Oh my god!
But that kind of actually, who actually voted for Mitch McConnell? Because apparently he casted a vote.
No, he hasn't been casting votes. That's been part of the problem.
No, I thought Mitch McConnell voted yes on the latest bill.
No, he couldn't have. Everyone
No,
would
he's
know
in the
that he couldn't
hospital.
vote for it. Like he wasn't there, so you can't vote in absentia.
You can still vote away from your desk like some other senators do.
Well, you can vote in absentia in a lot of cases, but I don't
I thought
believe
that they would
that
change that so
You
that
can
you
do
could no
proxy
longer.
votes, but I don't know how that works offhand right now.
I think it's only in certain
I know I've looked it up before,
circumstances.
but I don't know what it is right now.
They really need to like do an actual proof of life on that guy. It's been what, 40 days?
Why would it
I
matter?
saw a
to them?
picture of him in a wheelchair just yesterday. The dude looks skeletal. He really does.
I don't know. No, they haven't had any photos of him out recently. That one was an old one. He's been in a wheelchair for quite a while because he kept falling over.
Well, remember that that other guy who was I forgot his name. Former he was a vet, serves the Congress. He was absent for 3 days. Republicans are pissed, like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? What's this guy? What's this guy? What's this guy? And everyone's trying to find this guy. Then he found out, yeah, he was in the hospital for the heart attack. But nobody's worried about Mitch McConnell. I can't remember this guy's name. I'm trying to find it for you.
I want to briefly go back to what Mr. CCDV said about Mitch McConnell looking rather skeletal. Does he look, because I haven't seen that, does he look so bad that we need a prince from Eternia to just come by and finish him off?
I think that's where he's been for a while now.
I have the power.
Oh, damn. Damn Marvel. Sorry, they're wiping all the leaked footage from Doomsday trailer online. Holy shit.
Not complaining, and remember, I'm in San Diego right now during Comic-Con, so.
Yeah,
Well,
I know.
Now,
I only
Back to
got to
the-
watch
going
about
back to the
20
issue.
minutes of the Odyssey yesterday. Thank you, Elihu.
well, going back to the actual thing we're trying to talk about, is this an appropriate way to show your displeasure with the government?
Absolutely not.
I don't know. I don't know if I would say no or not.
I would not.
Well, it depends. I don't think he was actually attacking anything majorly that was to. Here's the thing. I honestly think this is going to go to court, and it's going to get plugged down to something other than domestic terrorism, vandalism. Yes, but I think because they're going to point out that his First Amendment right allows him to show displeasure, that it was not there to actually harm anybody. There's a lot of. It does not surprise me that they're calling domestic terrorism currently. But again,
Is this an actual photo of the fire?
It is an actual photo of the
Now,
fire.
is
Yeah.
it contained entirely to the sidewalk? The building itself is no way consumed.
Oh no, the building
it
wouldn't
was-
be harmed
yeah.
in any way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I
building
think he
was
chose,
harmed,
he chose that
It is
bush
kind of more of
on
a
purpose.
dramatic statement than a real terrorist attack.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. They're going to plead this down. Some lawyers are going to
They
take
are
this.
It will
absolutely.
depend on how
Because
good of
he's
a
a-
lawyer he gets.
Somebody's going to come up. This is a type of case. Somebody's going to come up and say, especially somebody from the ACLU, somebody's going to come in. They're going to give him the right lawyer. They're going to plead this down. He will probably see some sort of jail time, probably, or be house arrest, something like that.
Maybe.
The
Maybe.
worst thing that's going to happen for him is if he's not from New York and he came from someplace else, crossing state lines to do this, that's going to be the worst thing they're going to hit him with.
Remember, Rittenhouse crossed state lines. It's not going to matter.
Yeah, well, no. Here again, guys make it sound like it's a black and white. No, law is not black and white.
No, and it depends on the judge. It depends on the prosecutor. And remember, this is being done in New York City.
Exactly. And with the
So,
current
It's
social
going to be
political
pled
climate,
down.
they're
if
going
he,
to-
if he even gets charged
Okay.
for terrorism. It'll
So,
get pled
here's the
down
thing.
to-
This guy did not involve himself in domestic terrorism. Is it the right way to display displeasure? I would actually argue yes, to an extent. Because if he was really trying to hurt somebody and do anything else than make a statement, he would have done this at the building, involved more people or something. It was the time of day, the fact that he made sure nobody was really close, made sure that it wasn't really going to damage a ton of property. This was actually well thought out as a demonstration.
And probably wouldn't have had just an airsoft rifle.
Oh, definitely.
This was a staged demonstration. So is it proper? I think if anything, this shows there's a way to make headlines but at the same time, not harm people. Now, granted, with as hot as it's been in New York, a fire can turn into something very bad. I will admit to that. But I would say, if anything, the idea behind the fact that this was as planned out as it was is a proper way to show how to protesting.
So you think
But-
it goes up the line but does not cross it? It does seem a bit.
I think it is a very extreme way of doing it. I think it's a very extreme way of doing it. I think it's a very extreme way of doing it, but
Well,
don't
Dandelion
think
brings
he
up a
crossed
very
too
good
many
point.
lines.
Dandelion brings up a very good point. In New York City,
So I got you,
the
Lojo.
prosecutor and the judge are going to be extremely lenient for this
oh, yeah,
particular case.
Well, it depends on the judge.
it depends. Also, what was the building this was at?
This was
Is it
the
that way?
federal ICE detention facility or processing
there you go.
facility. I can't remember.
This isn't going to be a New York case. This is going to be taken by the federal government. So
Yeah.
there's this first problem. And now, granted, there is some that will probably be fighting. I would say that New York's going to say because it's on. And here's the thing: again, being away from the building, New York might say, "Actually, this is on our property. This is your place. This is ours." Especially if it's closer to public sidewalks and stuff. I don't know. There will be some fighting within the
If he's
government.
already been charged with domestic terrorism,
it's funny that you should
implies
mention that.
it's already a federal case. Does it not?
As of when I made this image, or when I edited this image, he had not been charged yet. They were still slinging around domestic terrorism charges.
Oh.
And from what I understand about jurisdiction, you notice the guy on the moped looking thing underneath where I have the word U.S. right there?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That is New York public sidewalk.
Right.
From what I understand, exactly where the fire is where the federal building starts.
Right.
yeah, it was
So,
right outside
again,
one of their walls.
I think
but-
there's going to be some fighting. Again, this guy probably did a lot of research on how he's going to do this.
undoubtedly.
So again, is it the proper way to do it? Is it extreme? Yes. Is it proper? I believe so.
Well, I mean, look
But-
how well contained. Look how well contained the fire is. That was on purpose.
Well, that's how the nature of gasoline. When you light gasoline
Yes.
on fire.
But again, that's the whole idea is that he thought this out. This is
I will be
absolutely
completely
no
honest.
way, shape, or form. Go ahead.
If he had just poured it on that bush next to it, that fire would have been so much worse.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, it would have been.
Again, this was not domestic terrorism. This had no meaning to hurt anybody. And again, the fact
The
that
legal definition will be argued in court. I think
Yes,
on
it
the
will.
social definition, I think he does fall under domestic terrorism, but it's not. I'm not saying it's necessarily domestic terrorism. That I disagree with the message, just the way it was done.
I mean, I don't necessarily condone it, but I certainly don't think that. Again, it takes a lot of social political things to make people realize why this country is going in the wrong direction.
I have
Well,
maintained.
At least
Hey,
it won't be in front of Judge Box of Wine, Janine Pereiro. But
Oh
she's a
God
big
damn!
piece, so-
No,
Here's the facts of the matter, and you learn this in the military: is that you're going to be sent to go do a lot of things that people will disagree with, but sometimes because of the necessary need of those actions for the greater good, things need to be done.
Mm.
This is one of those things. This man obviously felt in his mind, I will take a sacrifice to make a point.
Hmm.
He walked up to that place and he did what he did, full well knowing how bad it could get to as far as what it meant to him. And also full well knowing that he was okay with that. So again, whatever happens to him, I guarantee you, being a U.S. veteran, that man fully understands what will probably happen to him at the worst.
And JP's in the chat makes a very good point. When I think of domestic terrorism, I think of Timothy McVeigh, but
I have
Yes.
absolutely.
I disagree with his conclusion. I believe this was domestic terrorism.
And
I don't think so.
It is meant to
Well,
make
definition-
people
Talking
think.
about the fire at the ice place.
Yes.
remember,
That's not domestic terrorism. I mean, the guy could have he really could have terrorized if he wanted to. Like, he
I
didn't
understand
steal it
that.
on anybody. He could have done it like in a much dangerous place. I mean,
All right, listen. Okay, in the long form, maybe it falls into that, but I think there's key points in this that's different, because anything like this violates state and federal law. But in the United States, criminal acts occurring within the U.S. that are dangerous to human life, the man stood by. I guarantee if anybody had come up there that could have been hurt by that, he probably would have, please go away. Please go. I almost
well,
believe
I would argue that fire itself is dangerous enough to a human being. So
everything's
Now,
dangerous.
the thing is,
enough
I think
with
he
human
stuck, I
beings,
think he
for
stuck
God's
around with
sake.
the idea that he could stop anybody from coming up near it.
But
And
the
then-
point was to create terror. The point was to create
Yeah.
terror.
I
No,
don't
the point
think so.
was the
Point
point was
out.
to freaking to protest.
And-
Okay.
and
that-
so
therein
lighting
li-
cities on fire.
If you think
is
that
a
created
protest.
terror, were you terrorized by watching that? Because I wasn't.
no, but you weren't
I think
there.
anybody was terrorized watching that.
Or terrorized.
Again, hold on.
Yeah,
I
think most people who saw that thought it was an everyday thing.
LDG, you weren't there. That's the difference. You're watching it on
I saw
TV.
it though. Yeah, exactly. So you
Like,
can
you
imagine
weren't
yourself being
there.
there, and then still, listen. If I'm watching
fine.
something
Stop,
on
stop,
TV,
stop.
is somebody getting their head chopped off, I'm gonna get terrorized, bro. Like that's
Then-
messed
then-
up. But he
then
didn't do
here's
that.
the thing.
Just because I wasn't there doesn't
All right,
change
I'm
if
going
I'm
to remove that
terrorized or
one.
not.
You keep talking about this for a sec, so hold on.
Then
LDG,
here's the problem. Go ahead.
remember when I was just a couple of weeks ago, I was across the street from when a Islamic center was shot up by somebody, or a couple of kids. That was an act of terrorism, and yeah, I can tell you, people were worried because even though we were across a fucking freeway from it, and I say across the street, I was across a freeway from it, and people were still freaking out near me. That is a lot worse than people who like Alicia and Jack, who saw it on the news, even though it was in the same town as us.
Yeah, I still don't think it was level of terrorism though, man. Terrorism is they lowered the bar of what terrorism is. I think we all agree to that.
Yes.
Again,
Terrorism
Here's
is
the thing.
literally
the guy who
point
shot
of
listen, the
making
guy who
people
shot the
scared.
United Healthcare guy did it out in public. That's terror. But they're not going to charge him with domestic terrorism.
No, they're not.
Well, they tried.
Well, I understand that. That's my point. So even there, that is more closer to the definition than this falls into. I don't think that this guy intended to hurt anybody. Now, granted, there is a side of this. You have to say he may not have intended it, and he may have done everything he could to have made sure it didn't happen. That doesn't mean it wouldn't happen. I mean,
Yeah, I
again,
mean, he could
there is a point to this.
have hurt people. If
he
he
could.
wanted to at that moment, there was people he could have
But-
killed. He had knives. I heard he had knives and all that stuff. Didn't use them.
Like I said,
Frickin-
I think it definitely comes up to the line of terrorism, possibly crosses that line. But I concur that if he has a good lawyer and it's well reasoned, they can probably get the charges reduced.
Hey guys, I have a little update on what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay.
Iran has confirmed Ukraine launched attacks on Iranian ships, killing Iranian soldiers.
Sorry, what?
What's
Iran
doing there?
Iran confirmed Ukraine launched attacks on Iranian ships, killing Iranian soldiers. Iran has stated they have the
Ukraine
right.
is fighting.
Iran says they have the right to self-defense against Ukraine.
It's trust me, it just comes up
I
to
get
the
that
point
Iran
right
is kind of a puppet state of Russia, but still,
Mhm.
that doesn't seem necessarily right now.
Seems like a bit of a stretch. What the hell would
Yeah.
Ukraine be doing there? Like
Well, Ukraine
aren't
confirmed
No, it's
striking
just like-
vessels.
I guarantee, guys, it makes perfect sense. Think about it.
Yeah.
Russia's basically said, we want your help to start launching towards the Ukraine.
Hmm.
Or we want your help to do this and we'll help you. Right now, Iran is looking for other people to come in and help. because they know they're getting close to not being able to do much. Probably.
It's been officially stated by all the media, even RT, that Putin has asked basically his version of Congress to allow about 30,000 North Korean troops to fight alongside Russian troops legally in Ukraine. Right now, there's allegedly 200 to 500 North Korean soldiers, unverified, but it's been verified by Ukrainian soldiers that they're actually there. Putin wants to try to make it legal war for having another country help him out.
Mm-hmm. This is political chess right now. Oh, look what you did to us.
Of course, I had to look it up because of what Eli was saying. Now, apparently, this attack happened, like right as I was making this damn stream. And it was a Iranian a ship. It was a cargo vessel containing drone and missile components in the Caspian Sea. Now, that makes a shit ton of sense because that's basically they were getting that stuff from Russia. So I would assume that based on what I know about the history of Ukraine and Russia's conflict, I would guarantee you that if Ukraine hit them intentionally, it was because they thought that those materials were going to be used against them. I don't think they give a shit about what's going on at in Hormuz right now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you're right.
So it may have been a Iranian ship, but I would make a bet that that ship was originally a Russian ship purchased by Iran, probably in the 80s or 90s from Russia. And yeah, that's probably why Ukraine hit it.
Is anyone else partly outraged at this absolute phenomenal waste of resources? Like, just the amount of money and items and people and just everything just being like fucking wasted for no good purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Can you be more specific? Because we got a lot of stuff you're talking about: education, military, food, gap. What exactly are you talking about?
I'm saying, like, all this like warring in general is just like it's
War-
just such a giant
Par
waste.
for the
There's
course.
so many
This is
better
not the first time this has happened, and this
these
is just
resources.
War sucks.
it's
Okay.
it's just
I've
the
been
fact
there.
that they,
I've been there 4 times. War sucks.
You know,
they're not going to care enough about once you get a bunch of men in rooms playing chess and tiddlywinks with everybody else in rooms, they
All right.
lose sight of the people on the outside.
we might bring an aspect of this up at the CNA stream. So I hope you're there, Mr. CCDV, for that, because one of the things I was going to talk about is kind of related to what you just said. Now, I want to go on to the next subject because I'm trying to, monitor the time, and I'm like 20 minutes per will be enough for each thing. But now we've got 30 minutes left of the show and 2 things left to talk about. All right. So Benjamin Netanyahu goes to see the UN. Massive walkout.
Mm-hmm.
77 countries walk out when he walks in.
Mm-hmm.
That is nearly a third of the UN.
Mm-hmm.
They have more honor than the people at the correspondence dinner when Trump was like nattering on and everyone should have fucking got up and walked out.
You know, there was no laughs when he was speaking at the dinner.
Mm.
Now, I do want to point out one thing that I thought was incredibly interesting. One of the countries that walked out in disgust of Benjamin Netanyahu was North Korea. North Korea
How did that
is
shock
disgusted.
Okay,
With
that's
Benjamin
well. Okay, that is very, very interesting. Wow, somebody a country who subjugates their citizens to loyalty or jail is walking out of Benjamin Netanyahu's speech. Well, okay, that's fucking impressive. Wow.
No, it's just there again. You have to
I will
look at it for
agree
what
with
it's
you.
worth.
I chose the word war criminal, for the discussion aspects of it. He's not a convicted war criminal. He's just a charged war criminal. So he's been charged with it. He hasn't been convicted yet.
JP, it's not the UN. It's the United States does not recognize the ICC jurisdiction on U.S. soil. That's
we
the
never
U.S.,
have.
not the UN. Yeah, it's
We
the
never
US, not
have,
the UN.
and we never will.
All right. Let me make a quick point here about this. Is that and now I have to think about it again. Fuck.
You'll break.
Sorry, Chris. I had to correct JP. Sorry.
No, it's been like a minute and a half that I've been. Never mind. Fuck it.
Get your coffee.
When you think of it, you can bring it back up. Oh no, who did we lose? Mr. CCDV.
Yeah. back
No,
in
it was
LDG had
LDG.
that.
Oh, Pickles left. Okay, sorry. Everybody's
has a
sitting on my
customer.
laptop. I see you're there now. Okay.
He has a customer once in a while.
Or just folks stuff.
Sorry, and the only reason I'm putting Chris in the middle is because he's actually on camera. It's not because I don't like anyone else.
Well, I did comb my hair, but I don't want to be on camera right now.
Same here.
You have hair? You lucky.
Right now I
bastard.
do.
Yes, I do. See? Glorious hair. Ah.
God, I got so much hair. I have to keep it tied up because it's too freaking.
There you go.
Shiny,
Yeah.
shiny. Turn off the camera.
Look at me. I got giant cans on my head, but trust me, I look beautiful.
Shiny. You're worse than Mike. He doesn't have a bandana.
Awesome, isn't it?
Now, I do agree with Donnie when he said that he, looked into it, but he doesn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu. I'm glad he didn't try to.
Yeah.
Because that would have just furthered the flames in New York. Pardon the pun from the previous discussion topic. But I do find it interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the UN itself neutral ground, or is it considered
Supposed to
U.S.
be,
territory?
No, it's supposed to be neutral ground.
Yeah.
Let me double check. Let me check that for you. Okay, 1 moment.
He does have to get
Because
to
if it is neutral,
but
I don't know if it would have been possible for any other country to have arrested him when he was there.
Yeah. And I think also with it being the UN, I think there's an implied level of you can come to this
decorum.
and you can safely come here and
no Russian was arrested arrested at the UN.
I do know that Donald Trump administration did deny 2 UN officials their passport entry. The UN is intended to be neutral and impartial as an organization, but its headquarters is on American soil with special legal status. The headquarters district is under control and authority of the United Nations and is designated as inviolable.
Inviolable.
Thank you.
Yes.
The U.S. federal,
Okay,
state,
yeah,
or local
that makes
officials
sense
generally
then.
cannot enter or perform official duties without consent of the UN Secretary General.
Well, that settles that. It's inviolable.
The land remains U.S. territory. Most U.S. laws
Yes,
still apply
it
in
does.
practice, and the UN cannot use the
Now,
site as refugees, people fleeing U.S. arrest or extradition.
I'm still shocked he decided to make the trip because he's not traveling by ship; he's traveling by plane.
Mhm.
And one, malfunction, and he might be forced to land into a country that, let's face it, if 77 of them walked out, and apparently a grand total of like 60% of the world countries would have arrested him, that seemed like a risk I don't know why he would take, to be honest.
I don't know.
The
I
UN,
mean, I
the
saw his
UN
speech. He
is
didn't
an
say anything that
open
was that
platform.
important other than, he's the same old rhetoric,
Yeah.
And the only
It does-
countries that
it
I
does
understand
become rhetoric.
supported him, ironically, right now are the U.S. and the U.K.
It does become rhetoric once it's stated often enough. But honestly, every strike that Israel has conducted against Hamas has been in retaliation.
The problem with that is you could literally argue that every strike that Hamas has done has also been in retaliation.
So where did it start? Who fired the first shot? Who cares? It's over with.
That's
man.
the thing. The first shot is probably millennia old at this point.
It is.
Hmm.
Well, at least 80 years old anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying,
Israel and the Israelites would hearken back to Egypt in the Bible. That this has been something that Jews have faced from every country, from everywhere, and that that's why they're always in the retaliatory.
Every society on earth has
And
faced it.
Interestingly
And
enough,
on top of that,
prior to the establishment of Israel, Jewish
In
people in the region
1948,
were actually less like they lived in fairly harmonious coexistence with other religions in the area prior to.
I will say this: part of that dandelion was because the Ottoman Empire. Now, granted, they didn't fall until World War I, but they basically act as a stabilizing force throughout Asia Minor and a large portions of the Middle East, especially northern Arabian Peninsula. Remember, the Kingdom of the Saudis wasn't necessarily as powerful back then as they are now.
Right.
Whereas the Saudis are basically supposed to be the stabilizing force now.
Yeah. No, I realize. I realize there's more to it than that, but it's still.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, on a personal level, people weren't like, "Well, I hate you just because you practice a different religion than me." There was a lot less of that prior to the establishment of the of Israel.
And what I find most interesting is most of the Greek, not the Greek Orthodox, the Jewish Orthodox people in Israel are not in support of Netanyahu. They're in support of the Palestinians. They are not in support of Hamas. And yes, I do not support Hamas at all. I don't think anyone on this panel would support Hamas.
I hope not.
Fuck Hamas.
But I'll point out to a conversation I had with somebody on social media today, or not today, this week.
Hamas, yes. Hamas, no.
Okay, thank you for reiterating, Elihu. That was elucidating.
Elucidating. I love it.
Regarding Israel hitting a hospital that had supposedly a Hamas base underneath it. And they were like, the justification was, well, Hamas shouldn't be building bases in hospitals. And I'm like, yeah, they shouldn't. But the people in the hospital are still the innocents. And two,
Mike, sorry, I want to ask you that. What about the people complaining that Hamas shouldn't have missiles within residential areas, but Iron Dome missiles are in residential areas?
Again, let me finish what I was saying, Elihu. The hospital itself doesn't want Hamas there. The people in the hospital are still innocent. You don't kill the hostage to kill the hostage taker.
Sometimes you have to. I'm sorry. That's just the way war goes. Sometimes you have to.
But
no, I don't think it's a have to. I think that.
All right.
Wait. Can I please say something?
Sorry for interrupting, Chris. I want to because this is the question I asked the person, and of course they sidestepped it. I said, "Okay, you have a Hamas terrorist standing in front of you, but in front of him is a number of school children. How many of the school children are
remarkable?
Hold on.
The situation.
How many of the school children deserve to be shot in order to kill that Hamas?
What's the situation?
I was trained one shot, one kill.
Well, okay, wait, stop. Mr. CCTV, you weren't trained that way. You were trained with one thing. You were trained, what's the situation?
And you're also trained to think.
Exactly, that's the thing. But what's the situation? You haven't given me a situation other than he's standing in a crowd of school children. Or she, or whoever. What's the situation? Is there imminent danger there? Is that person guaranteeing? Am I in a situation where I can guarantee that this person is going to harm everybody in that area? If so, absolutely. I'm not saying I agree with the whole idea of the Hamas base underneath the hospital. What I'm saying is to CCTV's point, in a sense, it is not the tragedy of war or tragedy of conflict. It is the fact that, unfortunately, not that it will happen, but it can happen. U.S. doesn't always look to target, and I can't speak for Netanyahu and Israel, but the U.S. and I think one of the best scenes that you can describe this for a U.S. citizen to watch is in The American President with Michael Douglas, where they're sitting around the table after somebody bombs some sort of satellite place overseas, and they kill a bunch of U.S. citizens that are stationed there. And like they said, they didn't bomb the place until we had people there. So then they decide to do a counterattack. And in that counterattack, they're sitting there saying, this is the time of day when we will hit the least amount of people and there'll be the least amount of casualties. Sometimes there's a point where that comes up, and this isn't what we want to do, but this is the only way to do it in a way that it's the best outcome for everything.
Okay. The difference I'm going to point out, though, is that the guy pictured on screen right now.
Yes, I understand.
His administration, when they launched that missile at that hospital, they don't care about the civilians, because as far as he's concerned, because they're Palestinian at all, they deserve to die too.
I understand that, and I'm not. But what I'm saying is that unfortunately, it is the way of war. There will be civilians hurt. Now, whether or not that makes it right or wrong, I'm not trying to argue that. Obviously, it's wrong.
What I enjoy about this whole conflict with Palestine is Palestine used to be called it was one of those parables. Palestine occupies the same space as the people that Israel never got along with. What were they called?
Philistines?
No. That was
there was
earlier.
There's a bunch of groups.
Samaritans.
Okay.
They occupied the same space as the Samaritans. And so it has been historically a separate part of the Middle East, a separate country all on its own. Historically, it hasn't been given that treatment now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Samaritans were just basically part of Judea because they had to be. And right now, Palestine is part of something else that Israel hates.
Now, okay, let me put it to you this way then, and I'll relate it to the state of Israel in a regard. Back when Germany was in power and they had the Jewish concentration camps, those were German bases, essentially. They had German military personnel on those bases. We were at war with Germany. Should we have just bombed the concentration camps to kill the German soldiers that were there? Remember, they were our enemy.
Different situation.
Should we have just sent a B-17, bomb the hell out of concentration camp, and say, hey, we were trying to kill Nazis? And yeah, they were using, the Jews as shields.
Again, different situation.
How so?
How is it a different
Because-
situation? You have enemies embedded with innocent civilians in both situations. So how is it different?
We're not in a land war. It's tossing missiles back and forth. That's all that's
I
happening.
think when it comes down to it, I think we can all agree that this sort of shit has got to stop in general. Like,
It really does.
we've got to.
It really does.
We've got to find a better way. Like, we just can't keep.
Honestly,
like,
in my
going
opinion, Just recognize Palestine as a nation.
Exactly.
Just do that and
Okay.
be done with it.
There is the thing.
Mr.
Is that-
CCDB, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Chris. I will let you talk in a second. I am so shocked to have a conservative say that, and I am thrilled that you did.
Thank you. I think of myself more as a moderate, but I do.
That is
I
the
do
problem.
lean conservative. So
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem, though, is that it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I'm not talking down about you, Mr. CCDB, because I think you
thank
you
God,
understand the
because I
point.
was just a fuel handler.
That's
Maybe I'm talking you up then. Maybe I'm talking you up then. I don't know. Anyways,
I'm sorry, that was funny on its own
Man,
level, dude.
I'm getting a
That's
whole
funny.
bunch of shit in the chat.
facts of the
Right
the facts of the matter are this: you have one state who wants to be oppressive over another, and the fact is that there should be a way to say, let's split the difference, give them their own land and give them their own government. Now the problem is that you have to get the country to do that. And the thing is, I guess that's the idea behind this is a civil war that has been bubbling like soup for years now.
since World War
It
II.
is not boiling over. It is not being overcooked. It is just at that perfect temperature where they're never going to be happy with each other. They're never going to overly push one way or the other. They're going to fight and defend themselves. They're going to do stupid things. But this just keeps going and going. The only answer is giving Palestine their own state. And the problem is, though, is outside forces, the United States, UK, lots of other countries over the years have all stated we only recognize one state. The big boiling point and the big boiling over recently was when Trump came out and recognized and reopened the U.S. consulate for Israel by
In Jerusalem.
basically saying yes,
Yeah, he
in
moved
Jerusalem,
it too.
but
He moved it to Jerusalem.
basically saying one state. Most
I agree.
people over the past 20 some odd years have casually done this. I'm not seeing it. I'm not talking about it. I don't see you. You're not there. And just basically letting them fight themselves and fight over it themselves. Recognizing both people, recognizing the humanitarian need there, those types of things, but not observing either as a full state in and of itself. That was kind of we're not going to talk about Bruno of it all. But the only real thing is if the world were to come together and say, guys, we need to sit you two down and we got to come up with a two-state option. It's the only way. They'll have what they want. You'll have what you want. But
Do you think it would
stuff to
even?
fight.
Because as I
What?
said, the Jewish Orthodoxy tends to be in support of Palestine. Do you
Yes.
think it would be prudent to support a Jewish Orthodox movement in Israel right now?
It's not prudent to
Jewish
do
Orthodox?
anything with the country.
I don't think
All
so.
you can do is guide them in the right direction. You have to guide countries. Again, the United States has this idea of, is it prudent to do this? Well, no, because we're trying to do something to a country that we have no need to be in, no need to do anything with. We should only be consulting them and trying to help them figure out their problems. Again, though, I don't even think a two-state solution would do anything to stop the current powers that be from fighting. If Netanyahu is still there and he does anything, whether or not he believes or says he has a reason to do it against the Palestine people, then the Palestine people turn around and they will react, or vice versa. It will never fix the inherent problem right now, and that is probably more than anything Netanyahu. Much like in the United States, most of the things we're dealing with right now have been enacted or handled by Trump or pushed by Trump to put us where we're at. It takes again, and I said this right at the beginning, it takes a certain push to finally push everybody over that edge to realize, I guess I got nobody else to blame but the guy who's to be blamed. Right now,
Speaking of
there's
the guy that needs to be
obviously
not blamed, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to move on to the next subject because we're running out of time. Let's do something a little bit more lighthearted.
Yeah.
Apparently, the current administration is very, very mad that FIFA cropped Trump out of a lot of the photos when he was there
Wah.
sending the trophy to Spain.
Wah, wah. I'm sorry. It's tradition for a FIFA champion to have a group shot. Not with the president, just the team and or the coach. Sometimes the coach would just go, hey, players, enjoy yourself, enjoy your moment. Sometimes the coach would join, sometimes the coach would not. It's the player's moment. Why do you think the FIFA director was trying to nudge Trump out of the way? You actually watched the whole entire video. He was trying to pull him aside, and he just stood there in front of the, he's just like, no, and stood there in front of by the team. It's the team's moment.
Now, have you heard what the what Trump has ordered a certain, because I don't want to give it away, branch of the United States government to do in retaliation because of this act, because they cropped him out of the photos? Has anyone heard about this?
Is he?
No, I haven't.
No, I've only seen memes. You know, like
Okay.
The
Trump
ones
has
that are
ordered
going
the
around on
IRS to confiscate a portion of Spain's earnings because they won the FIFA prize, and that prize, in the United States, and they're supposed to be awarded a certain amount of money because of it. So what he's arguing is they earned money in the United States, so the United States deserves 40% of their winnings.
Oh
hadn't
my
heard
fucking gosh.
But no, because it's not, the winnings don't come from any place in the United States.
It doesn't matter. According to the IRS, the work was performed here in the U.S. Now, I want you to understand, any time an international sporting event has been held in the United States, this has never been true. They've never tried to tax, Olympic athletes for their winnings. Now, they have taxed U.S. athletes for their winnings, but again, that's because they're U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Trump is demanding from FIFA that the United States government get 40% of Spain's winnings because they cropped him out of the photos in retaliation.
I hadn't.
How
heard
much do they
that.
win?
Let me look that up specifically. I know it was in the article I originally read, but
He just keeps proving how fucking petty he is over and over and over again.
Like the little video I sent you. Gentlemen.
What is it that Jen Welsh calls them? Oh yeah, titty babies. Titty babies. Oh my god.
approximately 50 million.
Damn, Trump's already made 1.3 billion in net profit personally since he became president. How much more fucking money does he need?
Yeah, but remember, that meant that each of these players were supposed to get about 2 million apiece. And, he deserves part of that money, doesn't he? Because they cut him out of the photos.
Because reasons?
Like I
No,
said,
I will say-
I've only seen the
Baby.
memes, like the one where Trump was dissed by one of the players for not shaking his hand or something like that. That meme was obviously AI doctored.
So it's
Well, I want to point out, the IRS has said they're not going after the $34 million that Argentina got for their
No, of
victories.
course not.
And they are not going after the $33 million that the UK got during their victories.
Mm-hmm.
So we're apparently only going after Spain. So they're trying to say, they're trying to justifying it, saying, about the IRS and the work done. But obviously, if you're only going after the one country that dissed you, This has nothing to do with actual wage law or earnings law in the United States. This is 100% vindictive.
Can you guys like not elect petty bitches again?
Oh no, there's
Like,
only petty bitches at the top of the food
You guys
chain.
realize it's all Chris's fault why Argentina lost? Messi couldn't handle his driving. He was scared on the field, on the pitch, man. Like, you can't drive. You
Listen
can't driver.
He won the game that I did. So you know what?
Oh my god.
That's because none of them have gone to the dungeon yet.
Well, he was already mad at Spain, wasn't he? Because he was saying can't stop. You guys should stop all trade with Spain, and people
Yeah.
in Spain shouldn't be allowed into the country. And I don't know, man. He's just petty about Spain because they wouldn't let him use their air bases for his war.
And remember, well, I didn't say it was one of those that actually I didn't say it at the time. But yeah, Spain was one of the countries that walked out on Netanyahu as well.
Mm.
So yeah, Spain is apparently not an ally of the United States as much as they used to be.
Did
So
Canada walk out? I'm just curious. Probably not.
no, Canada was not on the list of countries that walked out.
That's not entirely surprising. I think we recognized Palestine
Yes,
recently.
Canada does.
Yeah, but I can see that we wouldn't because we're still trying to maintain relationships with Israel and stuff.
Was Trudeau the one who made that declaration when he was PM?
I think it was actually Carney. I'm not sure though. I can't remember exactly when it was.
I thought it was the end of Trudeau's before Carney took over. I got elected.
It's quite possible.
Well, and I don't have time to really go into it right now,
Nope,
but
it's all good.
if you want a good laugh, go to the actual order where Trump wants to put these tariffs on Canada for, the wildfires.
Mm.
Because, oh my God, the stuff that they decided to tariff is funny as all hell. And
Like
one I'm going to
hockey
point out specifically, we are now tariffing all Canadian imports of wigs.
Oh, nice.
Okay, that does not affect me, but that's funny as shit.
Trump,
Do you
Trump
wanna know
doesn't
how-
like the ones he gets.
Do you want to know how much? Hold on. In the entire global trade of wigs, do you know how much Canada controls?
Like
Point-
0.00001.
0.01%.
Ooh,
Of
okay,
the
that's
big
more
trade.
than I thought.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say that's actually a pretty big number.
And of that 0.01% is mostly wigs bought from China being resold by Canadian outlets to other countries.
That would be why it's being tariffed then, because I know.
But they're
one
not
of the-
tariffing China. They're
Oh,
tariffing Canada.
so yeah, but they are trying to like tariff China by proxy through Canada because Canada's not tariffing China on things, and so they're like, well, if you get it from China and then sell it to us, we're gonna. But the thing is, you guys pay the tariffs. You're not
I know.
tariffing Canada. You're tariffing yourselves. Like if somebody wants me to pay the tariff, I'm not shipping you that item. If you don't pay that, I'm not shipping you the thing.
Consumers still got screwed on the tariffs because companies got reimbursed for it, but the consumer did not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another item are on the list is tulip flower bulbs.
Oh no, we're not gonna have another Holland recession, are we?
Well,
tulips were a big deal. It did crash the economy in Holland.
Do you know how much tulip bulbs that Canada exports?
Well, it'd probably be a little bit more than wigs, I would think.
Assume.
I would say 2%.
No, probably not that much. Maybe like 0.5%, like 0.5.
Actually, it is less than the wigs.
Okay.
Why do you got this message reviewed for what the fuck? I hate YouTube, man.
Now, another funny thing I would note: we're
That is
also
funny, JP's.
we also put a tariff on Canadian milk and dairy.
Mhm.
The reason I find that incredibly funny is because Canada imports more milk and dairy from the U.S.
Yep.
than
Because
than we get from them.
Mhm.
because real milk
do you
comes from
think-
cows, California
the
cows.
question is, do they import it and then then export it to us so we're paying more for our own?
Well,
Sounds
it's funny
like
you say
something
that,
I would do.
Chris.
Yeah.
Most of what happens is we buy artisanal cheeses and stuff like that from Canada.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be with your
smoked
milk.
Gouda.
Artisanal cheeses would
Yum.
be made with only domestic milk because you guys put weird shit in your cows, and we actually.
Uh,
But
Not
most of the milk that's
necessarily.
imported
I
here.
will say, I will say you're mostly correct, Dandelion, except for non-cow-based cheeses,
Right.
because
Okay. Yeah.
one of the
Goat,
apparently one of the big
bison.
ones is American buffalo cheese,
Hmm.
where the milk is
I love
imported
it.
from the U.S. to Canada, and then we buy the processed cheese back from Canada.
Is that like actual water buffalo? I
Yeah.
would
Like-
assume.
yeah.
like-
No, the bison. The plain
Yeah,
bison.
No,
American
what?
bison. Good luck with that.
They also
one.
have water buffalo. Sorry.
Water buffalo, I believe, is mostly European, not
Oh.
U.S.
Actually,
I think
Asian.
we have a hard time
Southeast
importing
Asia.
herds of
is
water
where
buffalo.
most-
I love water buffalo based yogurt. That's delicious.
Yeah, water buffalo has a really good milk. It's really high. It has a
Yeah.
like a much higher fat. Like most
Gen-
cow milk is about
Genuine
3.5%.
mozzarella cheese is made from water
But I think-
buffalo.
I think water buffalo is up to like 5 or 6% milk fat.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so yummy.
Yeah, the yogurt's like 50 cents at grocery outlets. I'm like, oh, hello.
I
So
thought you
on
couldn't
that
drink
note, though, I have to get ready for the next stream. I have to go get more coffee. I might be a little late starting the next stream for that reason.
I have
So-
a loaf ready to display for everyone, and then I'll probably have to go.
Yay, we get bread porn. All right.
And yes, I am Dandelion. I do that when I don't want to get X-Lax.
Okay.
So I
Cheaper and
will
it
see
tastes
you guys all hopefully in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay,
See you guys soon.
later.
It was fun.
Bye.